Hello, my name is Randy Rolfe, and I'm an independent consultant with Nikken. And this is our product showcase, which we have every Thursday, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Time. And there are a number of live events like this during the week, and you can just go to theroyalalliance.com to catch them live or to catch some of them on recording. And it's our opportunity as independent consultants to share our experiences with you. And I'm going to start by sharing a quick PowerPoint, and then we'll share some of our product stories with you. So let me start my little slideshow here. And this has been put together by independent consultants to share Nikken. And Nikken is unique in the world. I used to be a corporate lawyer, so I like to say that they're a very successful, internationally known wellness company. And they're the only company that has a comprehensive approach to wellness based on natural energy and modern technology. And for people, it's really about discovering active wellness. Nikken is really about building people and helping people live a life in balance. And when you get involved with Nikken, you see that there are possibilities that most people don't even know about to live a happy, healthy life. This next slide about the compounding effect of daily choices is really critical. The humans being more is the motto of the company from the very beginning in the mid-70s. And the point here is that our daily choices add up to lifelong results. Small choices consistently over time make a radical difference in our income, health, relationships, happiness, and success. And if we make poor lifestyle choices, we end up being humans under stress, not reaching our potential, being stuck in a job we don't like, not having enough time for our family, not having enough money at the end of the month, and building up stress that diminishes our physical health. So they all work together. And in Nikken, it's all about that compounding effect, because Nikken has a full line of products that address all the major needs, daily needs of our health, our physical and mental health, and also the compounding effects of all the decisions we make through our day. So it's really important to keep all that in mind. Now, the field in which Nikken operates, the health field, is going downhill all around the world because of the stresses and toxins in our modern environment. Stress is the silent killer. It's involved in all the major areas of chronic disease that shorten our lives, and also those that reduce our quality of life: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, stroke, fatigue, anxiety, depression, allergies, sleep problems, weight problems. All of them are affected by stress because our whole system works through hormones and nerves and nutrition and so on. So if we're under a lot of stress, making poor daily choices, not getting enough sleep, the body starts to break down early. Sleep has become a critical issue in the last 20 years. 70% of Americans have sleep issues, and we know one poor night's sleep drops the immune system by 60% immediately. Also, we aren't as alert the next day, so that causes car accidents. And our memory is not as good, so we have problems learning and remembering and staying alert and vibrant as we deserve to be. And then the toxins in our air and our water and even our household items and our cleaning chemicals and all of those things are contributing to a huge toxic burden, which is stress on us physically and mentally. Outdoor and indoor air pollution is everywhere now, and we know that the indoor air can be worse than outdoor because all the chemicals many of us introduce into our homes. And 7 million premature deaths around the world are attributed to air pollution. But even here in the US, where we do have some air pollution controls, we have major contaminations in our homes and near the factories and so on. Water pollution's in our news every day. 260 different contaminants have been found in tap water, and tap water has been treated to kill those things that could kill us immediately, but the toxins are still there. The dead creatures and the chlorine compounds that are produced are quite toxic. And we know that bottled water often just has the chlorine removed to improve taste, but it can help also have thousands of other chemicals in it, including endocrine disruptors, which are from the pesticides in our agricultural fields, medications from upstream, and heavy metals like arsenic. Lead's been in the news since Flint, Michigan's incidents, and many cities are admitting that the lead content is higher than allowed in the tap water. So it's up to us. It really is our job to try to minimize our body burden. It's not going to be perfect, like we're going back 500 years, but we can minimize it and we can help our body respond to that stress. The people suffering the most, of course, are the children, because they're in fast development, both mind and body, and these things affect them even more. And babies are born now with over 200 known carcinogens in their blood. That's really scary. And we know obesity rates are at a third now, 78 million adults and 12 million children. 1 out of every 5 adolescents is obese. And we know it's because of inadequate consumption of essential nutrients and too much consumption of junk food. And we're seeing chronic disease in younger and younger kids. Diabetes type 2 is on the rise in the younger population, cardiovascular disease, childhood cancers. So it's not just that we're living longer and getting more chronic illness. Our actual longevity hasn't increased more than a couple of years in over a century, but we're getting sicker and sicker earlier and earlier. And this is unacceptable in the most advanced country in the world. Less than half of adolescents eat the needed amount of vegetables. Low-income families, of course, have it way worse, more anxiety and depression and stress, but also harder access to quality health care and fresh foods and organic foods and so on. And only 27% of high school children are getting the recommended amount of activity. And so our lifestyles are affecting us. And if they're getting heavier, of course, they don't feel like jumping around so much either. So it's a vicious circle that we're in. So what is the answer? Well, it is about humans becoming active in their own wellness, being healthy by daily choices, not leaving it to chance. And that's where Nikken comes in. Nikken takes a holistic approach to life. For over 40 years, they've been studying how to stay healthy, while Western medicine has focused on what do we do when people fall apart and get diseased. Nikken is focused more on an Asian philosophy of let's prevent those problems. And the founder back in 1975 started with this philosophy, apparently he got from his mother, of a life of balance and abundance requires balance in all 5 areas of health. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And when I saw that, I was very excited about it because I had never seen a corporation that really believed that you could have it all. And at the law firm I was working at, I saw people sacrificing their time with their family for big money. And their health eventually started to suffer too. And in the legal world, of course, it's a very adversarial and argumentative, so it's hard on your mind too. And so when I left law to build families through nutritional counseling and family counseling, I kind of thought I'd given up the big finances that I would have gotten if I'd stayed with the corporate law firm. But with Nikken, they have a program that really helps you in all those areas. But today we're focusing on the technologies, which is at the core of Nikken's offerings. So let me get on with that. Active wellness gives you the Nikken advantage, which allows you to have a favorable or superior position against these averages of what happens by chance, if you leave it to chance. And Nikken looks at the whole home and how to improve sleep, improve water, improve food. They've even developed light and air technologies that make a difference for our health. So we basically have three categories. I'll start at the right, the rest and relaxation, because that's where Nikken started. The very first product was magnetic insoles, and they're now in their fourth generation of technology development, and not only have the magnetics, but have all these added technologies to make it even more effective. And in the first 4 years, Nikken became the fastest growing company in the history of Japan. And of course, Sony and Mitsubishi and Toyota, they all come from Japan too. But Nikken is the fastest growing company ever to come out of Japan. And it was just with these insoles, by showing them to people, showing them how they felt better if they wore them. Balance is a little better, endurance is a little better, everything is a little better, just as if you're walking in the park all the time, instead of on concrete surrounded by steel and electric, and now Wi-Fi and cell phone towers. Then Nikken developed a futon to sleep on, so that when you're in that deep restorative period of your life, 7 or 8 hours a day, you're in an ideal envelope of healthy energy. And it's all sustainably grown materials and completely hypoallergenic, no added chemicals to the sleep systems. It's quite amazing, feel absolutely wonderful. And if you're watching the video, the little square is one of our most popular smaller products. It's for the lower back primarily, has the same technologies as the insoles and the bed, but you can also put it on your chest for breathing, on your tummy for cramps or indigestion, and so on. For the environment, the number one addition to our environment is the waterfall. And that not only filters the water very, very fine with carbon filters and resin, but it also adds back the alkalizing minerals and helps alkalize the water, which is really important when modern life tends to acidify our systems. And then it microclusters the water by putting it through a magnet, as if the water just came out of the ground instead of sitting in some steel tower somewhere for weeks or months on end. We also have a shower system that creates that same Nikken Pi Mag water, and has micro bubbles that increase the moisturizing effects and the cleansing effects. And Nikken has also had air and water systems, and many of our technologies are designed to improve the entire environment. And then the nutrition, I could talk about that forever. Since I am a nutritionist, Nikken has absolutely second to none products, and some of them are unique, like the one that's pictured, the OsteoDens, uniquely focused on the bone health system, and it's completely natural material. Nikken's foods and supplements are organic based as much as possible, and the juice you see there is the highest antioxidant of any juice on the market, but it also helps the cardiovascular system, helps with stress, helps the GI system. Nikken really focuses on improving the whole digestive gut system, and especially the biomes, the synergistic biomes that help our digestion and make everything work better. And then we have a unique eco-certified line of skincare. And we have an everyday organic-based weight management program. And this next slide shows everything that comes with that program. And we have many people who successfully lose weight without feeling deprived, without getting irritable. Sometimes they sleep better instead of worse. And it's called everyday because you use it the rest of your life. It's not quick weight loss, it's re-educating the body so that you make healthy food choices and have all the energy you need throughout the day. So it's not only cleanses and balances, but energizes it. And we have the organic green tea for energy, and it's much better than any of those high caffeine drinks because it gives you even energy and there's no collapse. We have amazing paleo bars for the snacking, and there's nothing in there your great-great-grandmother wouldn't recognize. And then our wonderful Kenzen Vital Balance meal replacement powder is unique. And it's the first powder in my 40 years of teaching nutrition that I feel very confident in highly recommending. There's nothing in there you don't want, and lots of great things in there that you'll have to explore on your own because we don't have time. But everything that cleanses and balances and energizes the body. And then some more of our fantastic supplements, the digestion and the cleanse and detox, which are very, very effective. So now I want to stop the screen share and invite our special guest, Al Puglisi, to share his experiences with Nikken. Just want to say, first of all, when I started Nikken, I had no complaints, but as you can tell from my work in nutrition, I've always been about prevention. And this was a whole other way to prevent problems by surrounding myself with the healthy energy that Nikken allows. So that's my basic story, but I have many stories since I've been in Nikken for 20 years. Of course, things happen, and you heal quicker from injuries. Because the body just loves being in a good energy. And my husband's breathing improved dramatically, his sleeping, breathing during sleep. So Al, if you will unmute yourself, and I'll introduce you. You're from New Mexico, is that right? I'll unmute you.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
I am from, not originally, but I've been here for the last 45 years.
Oh yeah, you were born there.
I was not born here. Thank you. I'm actually from your neck of the woods up in New York City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
What first got your attention with Nikken, Al?
Well, this is going to be part of my product story. Like yourself, I had no physical complaints. But my wife was a different story. And my wife had knee problems, and has had since she was a little girl. And one of her knees just wasn't formed right, and she's always had knee problems, hard for her to run as a kid, and she dealt with the pain as a child. Now, she was a competitive swimmer, so she spent a lot of time off her feet. So, but anyway, she still had the problems when we got married, and as our marriage progressed and we got older, her knee problems started getting worse and worse. And it got to the point where she couldn't walk up a flight of stairs or even down a flight of stairs without help. She was in such pain. And my wife is a nurse, so she was into the pharmaceutical thing. So she started taking ibuprofens. And first a couple a day, then more than a couple a day. And next thing I knew, she was taking ibuprofen like they were candy, just to keep the pain down. And lo and behold, they put her on blood pressure medicine, so no more ibuprofen. So I was actually selling insurance at the time, and I was at a networking meeting, and there was a gal there named Jerry, and she got up and she was talking about Nikken and the products and what they can do for us. And after she was done, I said, Jerry, we need to talk. And so we talked afterwards, and we went over her house 2 nights later. And I explained to her about my wife. They did the rollout with us. And it's kind of, I don't know if you guys are doing it, but so many distributors I know aren't doing rollouts anymore. And that's what sold me. And so she gave her a pair of mag steps to try. And by the next day, my wife said, after 24 hours, she said, my pain's gone. She said, my knees don't hurt. So I said, well, wear them another day. And she was walking up and down stairs and just great. And she wears them every day. No more ibuprofen, no more painkillers. And she experiments once in a while. She'll take them off. Like she likes to wear sandals sometimes. And so she'll take them out. And she may go a day or two without wearing them. And if she goes a day or two without wearing them, her knees start hurting again. And so she's like, well, I guess I can't do that. So another product I've had a really great experience with personally is the back flex. And it was with the old model at the time, the one with the shiny side and the Velcro and all that, which I love that. I love that model. But I was selling insurance at the time, and I used to cold call in the morning. And in the course of a morning, I'd go through a pot and a half of coffee, black, and I was not in Nikken yet, and half a pack of cigarettes. And in the course of a morning, well, I developed gastric esophageal reflux disease, and it was bad. I woke up one morning, and I had been coughing and coughing and coughing, and I thought, God, these allergies, God, these, no, it wasn't allergies, it was acid reflux, and I never knew, and my throat was starting to hurt, and one morning I woke up, and not only could I not eat, I couldn't even swallow water. That's how bad it was. And my wife was at work, so I called my neighbor, and I said, I need you to take me to the urgent care. I said, I don't know what's going on here. I said, but I'm scared. And so he took me to the urgent care, and oddly enough, the doctors just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Okay, so they sent this nurse practitioner in, and she said, what's your symptoms and this and that? And I told her, and she said, I know exactly what's wrong with you. And she came back with this pink stuff, and she said, drink this. I'll be back in 20 minutes. And so I drank it, and she came back, and she said, how do you feel? I said, about the best I've felt in about 3 months. And she said, yeah. She said, you have GERD, you have gastric reflux. So they did put me on medication, and the doctor told me, well, it was omeprazole. And she said, you're going to be taking this pretty much for the rest of your life. I said, yeah, well, we'll just see about that. And because I know that this stuff omeprazole will hurt your bones. Okay, it drains your bones. So I stopped taking it, and I was okay for a while. Then I started having flare-ups. Not because I aggravated anything, just because I still had it. And nothing seemed to work. I would drink milk, no. Cream, drink cream, no. Finally, I had this back flex, and my head goes, well, it works on my back. Maybe it'll work on my front. And I was in pain. My whole chest was just in pain from this acid reflux. And so I was sitting on my couch, and I just slapped that on my chest, and I just left it there. And within half an hour, I could feel the pain starting to diminish, and within an hour, it was gone. And so whenever I introduce people to the back flex, I tell them, here's an added benefit. It's not just for your back. Our water filter, this was a friend experience. We were sitting right here in this kitchen, and our friend was visiting us, telling us about his divorce, which we were good friends with both of them, but he was going through his divorce, and he was starting to get dry, so I gave him a glass of water from our water filter, and he's going on talking about his divorce, and all of a sudden he just stops right in the middle of what he was saying, and he says, that's good water. And I said, yeah. I says, it comes from our filter here. He said, give me some more. So he drank some more, and he walked out buying a water filter from us. So let's see, the magic blanket. A guy in my networking group, his wife was having trouble sleeping. She was having pain in her back and stuff like that. And I said, well, maybe you need a new mattress or this or that. I said, you know what, Mel? I said, I gave him one of our travel blankets, and I said, have her put this on tonight when she goes to bed. So she put it on that night. He called me the next day, and he said, that's the first time in a month my wife hasn't had pain while she was sleeping. I want one of those blankets. and she takes it everywhere. And the whole thing about taking heat off of you and putting heat on you, my wife has used our travel blanket for hot flashes. And she says it's the only thing that relieves her is to put the blanket on. So Melvin's wife calls it the magic blanket. And she takes it everywhere, football games, wherever she is, that blanket is with her like Linus. And she has told so many people about it, and we have sold so many blankets because of her. And I told her, I said, Judy, I said, I said, you're telling all these people about it, you might as well get paid for it. So I said, sign up with us. And so we're getting ready to sit down with her in the next week here. Because everywhere she goes. Another experience with her is she was visiting her daughter, and their baby was just colicky and screaming and crying and just would not stop. And they laid him in the crib, and he was going on and on. She took her magic blanket, threw it over the baby, and she said within a few minutes that baby was quiet. And so her daughter bought one, and now whenever the baby acts up, she just wraps him in that blanket. And he stops crying. Let's see what else. Again, with the back flex, I forgot to mention this. I know a mechanic who's always under cars, and he was in constant back pain. And he bought a back flex and a pair of Max Steps. And he said, Al, he says, I can't thank you enough. He said, I wear that back flex when I'm at work. He said, no more pain. He says, it's fantastic. We had a gal, a waitress at a restaurant where we go to, and she had shoulder pain up here and right in here. And I said, I don't know what we can put on that for you. I said, the wraps can't go on there. I said, we have this CM cream. You could try that. She tried that. It worked a little bit. I said, you know what? I had a bunch of power patches. I said, put 2 of these power patches on that area. And she did. And the next day we went to the restaurant. She said, those things really work. She was skeptical, but she said, those things really work. And so the power patch is even. And the last story I'd like to tell is the one I told you. There's a restaurant owner here in town. We frequent his restaurant, always on his feet, constantly in pain. I don't know what's wrong with his feet, okay? I'm not a doctor. But he said, Al, he said, nothing works. I've tried painkillers. They don't work. I've tried acupuncture, acupressure. They don't work. He said, now the doctor wants to cut my feet open and do surgery. And I just looked at him. I said, Art, I said, I'm not a doctor. I said, I don't know from nothing. I said, but before you cut your feet open, I said, take these insoles and put them in your shoes. Wear them for a week, and I'll come back and we'll talk. So I gave them to him. He put them in. About 5 days later, I went by, and I said, well, what's the verdict? He said, these things are magical. He said, I don't have any pain anymore. He says, I walk around my restaurant. He says, my feet don't hurt. I even started back at the gym working out again. And he told the gym owner, and the gym owner wants to talk to me now. And he's telling everybody he sees. He sent me to another gal that I just sold a pair to the other day. She had an accident and her feet were hurting. And she put them in, and she says, wow. She wore them for about 3 days. She says, these things are great. She said, the first day I didn't feel a whole lot, but now they're fantastic. I don't hurt anymore. And I said, it's the power of Nikken. What can I tell you? I said, and those are kind of my stories. There's probably more that I could think of. But one thing I know of is that when I put a Nikken product on somebody, I know it's going to work. There's no doubt in my mind. And as for my own life with the nutritionals that you were saying, we were taking another kind of natural nutritional, which were working pretty good. But when I got into Nikken, I switched to our Nikken nutritionals. And within a week, I felt the difference. I said, these just have given me so much ADHD. And after starting the nutritionals, I started to settle down, get focused. I had a lot of energy. My blood sugars, because I am a diabetic, my blood sugars started leveling out. at good levels. And I am on medications, but even the medications weren't keeping it in control. And lately, I've been able to cut my medications back. I've been able to cut my insulin in half, and the pills. The doc took me off one of the pills he had me on. So I'm not saying it cures anything or anything like that. I'm just telling you my experience with it. That since I've been on the nutritionals, my diabetes has been in far greater control than it had been in the past. And I guess I'm done jacking my jaws. So.
Well, thank you for all those great stories, Al. That's really neat. I have a question here. When you talked about the magic pad, were you talking about the cocoon or the travel pad? Yeah, probably either one would do the same, but which one were you?
The magic blanket, you mean?
Yeah, magic blanket.
It was just the travel blanket.
Yeah.
That's all we really had to lend her, and we gave it to her, and the next day she was like astounded. So it was just the travel blanket, which was big enough for her. And we had never bought a mattress because I told you we had a water bed with all kinds of electrical stuff running through it. And we've gotten rid of the water bed. So we'll probably buy the comforter now and use it. And the mattress.
The Nature Rest pad, again, that's in the 4th generation of technology since Nikken began, and it's absolutely amazing. I have one more question for you as far as what nutritionals do you favor that you're using? You don't have the GERD symptoms anymore?
I think it's the Megaforce, because those Megaforce, they have turmeric in them. Mm-hmm. They have turmeric and what else was in there? There was something else that's good for your stomach in there. I can't remember which one it was. Ginger root is in there as well. Yeah. So I think that's played a big deal. And I'm not taking any medication. And when I have a flare up, I just slap that thing on me. And I do eat ginger root from time to time also, but and I try to watch my diet. that episode scared me, to wake up one morning and not even be able to swallow water, and not know why. It just scared me. I had all these throat cancer, all this stuff coming into my head,
Well, yeah, that's what they say, that if the GERD gets way out of hand, especially if there's lots of side effects to the medications that they offer, and those side effects long term are getting more attention now in the news. I've been reading about it. So it's wonderful to have Nikken that focuses on supporting our body naturally to help the body do what it can do best. So I want to thank you, Al, for sharing those great stories. And I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint briefly just to close here. Hold on a moment. So those of you who are watching or listening, ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow, a life of balance and abundance in all 5 pillars of health: healthy body, healthy mind, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And we've been talking about the technologies that Nikken has, and the whole approach of Nikken is based on supporting the body to maintain its own health. But for those who fall in love with the products and want to join and share and increase their income, Nikken pays well when you share and people buy the products from Nikken. So we invite you to become a customer and try the products, whether you start with the water or the back flex I was talking about, or the insoles he described so well, or the sleep pad, or the comforters, or the nutritionals. Absolutely fantastic. Just start somewhere, and build these into your wellness home. And then if you decide to share Nikken, you can have a part-time income. I know from family counseling that often $300 or $400 a month can make the difference between a divorce and a family that can get along. Or you can develop a full-time home-based career with Nikken when you invite others to join you in the business, and you can reach literally thousands and tens of thousands of people with the message of total wellness. So I want to thank you for joining us in this webinar, and get back with the person who invited you to watch or to see the recording on the royalalliance.com. And I'm going to end the recording now. So thank you, Al Puglisi, for sharing, and we'll have...
Oh, my